great. Yeah, if you want to just start off by giving us your name, what this place is, and what you do here.
Sure. My name's Chris Dieter. I'm the owner, director of Crocodile Encounter, which is the largest crocodile facility in the United States. It's primarily an educational facility. That's our goal. It's an educational, and we also do some breeding of endangered species. A lot of the animals that live here are amongst the rarest animals in the world. And so what we do is we have partnerships with other zoological organizations like, say, the Houston Zoo, the Bronx Zoo, the Smithsonian. And a lot of times what happens is the space is limited at some of these other facilities for adult animals. And so they'll send us a large adult, and we'll sometimes send them smaller animals. So they go ahead and we basically rotate back and forth with them. And altogether, it makes a really neat place for people to come and visit. You know, they get to see a real functioning conservation educational facility. So. I was teaching high school biology, and I was keeping, reptiles just as a sidelight and just as a way to get more people involved, get to learn more about the animals. We started doing outreach programs to schools, some birthday parties, stuff like that. And as a matter of animal welfare, we wanted to make sure the animals were never overused. They don't like to be lifted past a certain age, like 2 years of age, when they start to get heavy. So we would retire them, rotate the animals, and we needed a place for the animal to live. You can't just say, okay, hey, we're done with you, we're gonna move you on. So we wanted to do the right thing, so we created a outdoor habitat for the animals here. And so when people come and see them, what they're seeing now is older educational animals that have been, from other zoological facilities or our facility. And it just, they started to ask over the course of time, could they come see the big guys? And that's just kind of how it all started, was that right there. This is the most amazing part of the entire story. This is absolutely 100% internal. There has been no external funding from this whatsoever. So basically, like you asked how long we had been here, we've been here for roughly 19 years, but of those 19 years, all we've done is cycle the money back into the facility for the most part. And so it's a 100% debt-free facility. So over the time of what we've been able to do is, so we go ahead and when we did activities, shows, whatever like that, we take that money, we put it back into the animals. We try to make it a full nature. When you come out here, you're seeing how these animals probably don't even know they're actually captive. Other than coming to feeding stations to eat, they live a totally wild, natural life. And there are a few exceptions, like our lemurs, you can tell they're captive, and those are mostly rescue animals. But the animals, the crocodiles, which are our primary focus, they are in habitats sometimes several acres in size. And so they're living to the point where if you took down the fences, they won't even leave because they've established that as their territory. And so when you go to a normal zoological facility, you can tell there's an artificial aspect to it. Because I was a teacher, we try to open the door for people that want to do zoological work to young people that might otherwise, like I say, if you're going to go to a Houston Zoo where, they want a lot of requirements potentially to get in there, we'd like to open the door for a younger set of people to get their foot in the door in the zoological world. And the first group of people that worked out there were all my former students. And they built the place from the ground up. And so in that regard, it's actually a really neat story because it's actually the largest crop facility in the United States that was built by a teacher and his students. And it's literally a totally true story. The animals come in, they come out. You have your reproductive seasons. We pull the eggs from nests. We hatch the animals. There's babies in there that need to be cleaned and moved around. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of moving parts every day. On a perfect day, like I told you, there's nothing going wrong. But sometimes you're dealing with, there's probably, I forget how many total animals are out there. There's probably like 500 animals out here. Every one of those animals is an individual. Every one of those animals is living their life. So on some days they may end up in places you don't necessarily want them to be. But most days they don't, but they're all living their lives just like you are. And so, there's a lot, and just everything that comes with that can be a part of the day. Any place like this has a really large learning curve. And so just from the habitats themselves, a lot of the species we keep here are not very good in the winter. So like the American alligators that we keep, we have about 50 of them out here. They do fine year round because they're native, so you don't have to really do anything with them. But we also keep Orinoco's from Venezuela. We keep Siamese crocodiles from Thailand, Nile crocodiles from Africa, saltwaters from Australia. They all have their own temperature tolerances. So these buildings that are out here, they're basically lifeboats for them in the wintertime. So for 2 to 3 months, a large portion of the group comes inside. We ended up taking a group of Chinese alligators, which is the rarest crocodile in the world. I mean, it's just 150 of them left in the wild. and they hadn't been bred in the United States for 20 years. And so the Bronx Zoo sent us a pair, and they said, hey, see what you can do. And we've reproduced them for 4 years straight now. And it's now become the largest group of Chinese alligators in the United States. The Orinoco group that is here is the largest group in the United States. They're just tremendous animals. And now we're actually going to do an event called Crocfest here, which is a national event, and that'll be in October. And that is to send the Orinoco babies back to Venezuela, which is a re-exportation program. Well, every year we add exhibits, and we have younger animals in the buildings that are out here that are not yet on exhibit, and it just increases the species number. And some of them are really amazing. We have American crocodiles they'll be on exhibit probably within a year. We have a species called Temistoma, which is the false gharial. They have these really long snouts. They're just awesome looking. There's none of them really in Texas, except I think there's maybe one in San Antonio. And we're gonna have a huge group of them. And so when you come here, like, not only do you get to see these guys as like a single, like a stamp thing, you're gonna see the behaviors of them. You're gonna see where they live, how big they can get. And one of our big goals here all the time is to let people see crocodiles swim. I mean, a lot of times when you go to a zoological facility, they'll have like a little tiny pool of water. The croc kind of flops in and out of it. He might move around a little bit, but here you get to see it all, jumping, swimming, moving. You get to really experience what the animal is about when you're out here. So we just bought 75 acres across the street. So what we're going to do probably within the next 2 to 3 years is there's going to be a gradual shift of some of our animals over there. This side will probably end up staying almost pure crocodiles. But we think we're going to move the alligators to the other side, and we got this idea that's really off the wall crazy, but it's really, we're going to make a giant bamboo maze over there. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there is you know how a corn maze works? Well, we're going to do a bamboo maze, and the world Guinness record right now sits at 1.5 miles of bamboo maze, and so our goal is to knock that record down. And so you're going to come here and do the crocodiles on this side. The alligators will move to the other side. You ride around the alligators and get to do this really awesome bamboo maze. Totally non-croc related, but it's just awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm all about awesome. I love awesome stuff.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's all we got for you.
Oh, that was great, man. That was easy.